We need a better catch line, by the way.
I did eat breakfast. Yeah. And it's sad because you don't care if I eat breakfast. All you want to do is sound check me. I really was excited to tell you about my breakfast. But the reality is that it doesn't matter whether or not I ate breakfast.
Well, really, what did you eat that made you late, Sam? What did you eat that
Good question.
I had
Just for the jugular here.
Because you want to tell me I don't eat. I really want to know what did you eat that was so good.
I had a bowl of Vector cereal with water and some Greens Plus. And then I had 2 eggs this morning.
And Kwesi, did you have something to eat?
No, I'm fasting until after we film.
Okay.
So just fruits blended. It's protein. No, it's not. I didn't bring fruits.
No,
It's just no. That's what I had today, meaning just liquids.
As
Yeah.
Sam said, I don't really.
I brought my lunch, my breakfast. Let's get it a car.
Sheree!
Hilarious.
It's okay, I care. I was actually interested to hear. I was like,
Okay. I was like, why are we still talking about this drink? It's gonna spoil outside, whether you bring it.
I have to go pee. Okay.
Go.
No.
And Jen,
No, you're gonna hold for the whole
I'm gonna
time.
hold it for the whole
Oh
time.
wow.
just as you're gonna get up now. Go now. Okay, we're ready.
I'm sorry, guys.
Go. It's okay. Go ahead.
Just realized. Welcome back to Sam and Jen Got Divorced. Our marriage didn't work, but our podcast is working pretty good. We want to thank you for being here, and as per usual, we have a great episode in store for you. One of my great friends, he's here with us to be a guest host. He is a coach. He is a mentor. He is a life well lived. He is a very deep well of wisdom, and he's jokes as well. So please join me in welcoming our guest today. We're going to turn it over to him, and he's going to lead us in our episode. Stay tuned.
And we just go? There's no cut. Awesome.
You go. Well, he'll cut it, but...
Thank you for that amazing intro, Jen. Give me butterflies in my tummy before I guest host this podcast. I'm excited. I was saying to both of you earlier on, I'm excited to be here. I feel honored to be here to share space with you both. Topic for today, the theme for today. This theme is, I don't want to say close to my heart. I'm very familiar with it. Lived experiences, many a conversation having, and will continue to have on it. And I'm excited to unpack it with you both. Everyone is familiar with the podcast and their story. So I'm excited to unpack this topic with you both and to hear your experiences and your wisdom on it. So the topic is situationships. I would like to... I'm going to ask each of you this question. I'm going to start with Sam. Sam, what is a situationship to you? What does that mean to you?
To me, I'm going to try to answer as if I didn't just read up the definition of situationship before this. So to me, personally, a situationship is when you have a relationship that doesn't have clear definitions. So you don't know exactly what you are, what the goal is, what the intent is, what the level of commitment is. But you're still in a situation. It's not nothing. So in absence of being able to label it more clearly, you call it a situationship.
Okay. Thank you. Jen, what's a situationship to you?
So a typical situationship is probably that. You're in between, like I'm talking to somebody and this is my person. A situationship to me is perhaps more nuanced. So one of the last episodes, we had a conversation around my personal situation, and they labeled it a situationship. So I was like, well, I don't know. We should have a deeper conversation about this. So what I have experienced is we have different outcomes in mind for ourselves. So we have established attraction, we have established mutual likes and dislikes and so on, similar values and so on, but we don't want the same things ultimately. Now, with that in mind, and with us being very clear, open, and honest about that, we make a conscious decision to continue to entertain or to explore whatever kind of relationship we have. It is more than a friendship, and it is less than what we would typically call a committed romantic relationship. Okay. So our intentions are open, are honest. We know we don't want the same things, but we are conscious and decided or decisive in moving forward anyways. Okay, so I get that, I guess maybe my definition might be different than the typical use of the word. And you know what? Really, when I was thinking about this, I think a lot of people are actually in situationships and they call it relationships because people don't know where they're going or what they're doing or what the other person is actually thinking because there's lies involved. And they're just entertaining it anyways. And they're saying we're committed and we're in a relationship and all this kind of stuff. But really they're in a situation because one person is either holding back or they might be like, well, I'm here for the moment or what have you. So I actually was thinking about my version of a situationship, which I actually think is actually what I said actually like 4 times,
Yes.
which I think
You actually did.
I actually did, right? is closer to a relationship
Than a situationship.
Because there's clarity there. I think in a situationship, like you said, there would be lack of clarity, but there's no lack of clarity. We're just like, this is what we're doing. I know what you need and want from me. I'm willing to do that, and vice versa. And we're very open and honest about that, while also recognizing that, the end game is different.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. You said something that was affirming for yourself. You said a lot, which I love. I'm like 0 to 100 in 3 seconds. Yes, this is Jen, the Jen factor. Which is great but you said something that was affirming. It really stood out to me. And it was around your definition. Other people, there's a comparison in there. So this is my opinion. There's a comparison of what people how they might typically define a situationship versus how you would define it. And my answer to that was, I want your answer. Okay. I don't want what anyone else thinks. I love Sam's answer, and I loved your answer equally.
Equally? If you had to pick a winner.
Mm-hmm. A winner.
You and your winners.
If there was a winner
in this? Why would it be me?
I love that. You were direct, short, direct, and there wasn't a lot of meat for me to have to dissect. Straight to the point, and I respect that, especially as a man. I respect that, and I appreciate that. Jen, and tapping into my femininity over the last couple of years with intention. Jen's answer took me from the shop to down the hill to up the beach. I'm back around the bend, which I also very much appreciate. There's a lot of color. My aunt often says a colorful narrative. I've come to appreciate Jen and her colorful narratives, but it also gives me more meat and more sauce, right? So that's why I said I love both. As far as what makes you the winner, you're already a winner before you stepped in, brother.
Oh my goodness. We said the right host.
Whoa.
I'm curious, Sam. Would you agree or disagree with Jen's answer? Her definition of a situationship. Would you agree or disagree with it? I'm curious to know that.
I would agree. Like, I think it makes sense. While many situationships maybe are undefined, I do think that you can have a discussion about what things are, and it's not quite adherent to the traditional definition of a relationship. So I think based on what Jen is describing, that's what's happening. It doesn't fit into traditional norms, but there's enough creativity in the way that they've set things up for it to be called a situationship. Yeah, especially given that it doesn't, like in traditional relationships, the way that I was raised to think about them is that the most successful ones lead to marriage and a successful marriage, right? So with taking that out of the equation, I'm not sure, like it sounds like the end point is different for the two of them. They want different things out of the end of it. So taking that out of the equation, I would agree that that's also classified as a situationship.
What makes a relationship, partnership different from a situationship? Is it the intention, as you just kind of alluded to in There's a Destination? And the reason I asked that, if I could give a little analogy, I heard a while ago that a ship usually is built to bring you to a destination, right? So my question to you is, what makes a situationship different to a relationship? Is it the intention, as you kind of alluded to with your last answer? And if you have a different answer, I'm open to it, but please go first.
Yes, I think that the difference is the destination. I think in a situationship, the destination is the situation that you're in. If it evolves, then it might be something different, but you're happy with what you have. I think relationship, there's a degree of building and growth, and maybe some change and evolution that's built into that expectation. Like whether you all are changing individually or as a couple you're changing, maybe you're moving in together, maybe somebody's saying I love you, maybe there's a ring being bought. There's an expectation of progression, I think. So whereas a situationship, arguably you're already there, I would say.
You've arrived.
Mm-hmm.
No expectation for it to be anything more.
Yeah, if it is, then that's a different thing.
Okay. Jen.
So what makes a situationship different from a relationship
Mm-hmm.
is the question.
Is it the intention? Is it
The intention?
Yeah, the lack of intention, I guess, or expectation that it's going.
I think in both there is intention. So I intend to be a part of a relationship, or I intend to make a choice to be a part of a situationship or something that's not traditionally regarded or accepted as, the ideal or prototype for a romantic relationship. I think there's intention in both. So I think they're just called two different things. Maybe similarly, because maybe the expectations are different.
Yeah.
In that the goal for a relationship is usually marriage, which we can we can talk about that in terms of a goal for a relationship, if it's viable or not. But I think maybe the expectations would be the difference.
I want to understand real quick, when you're talking about situationships, are you talking about your type of situationship or all types, including your type? Because your type is very explicit. You guys have had a discussion about what you want, and it differs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But a lot of situationships aren't like that. There's no discussion. It's just people see each other when they see each other. So are you talking about just yours, or are you talking about yours and all the other types where people are not therapists and corner counselor and able to articulate, to have those conversations as clearly as you were able to?
Yeah, I guess maybe I'd be talking about, well, I was including my version, where things are clear and people are explicit about what they want and need. I guess if I were to include the typical situationship that has very negative connotations, I think the expectations are still part of that equation, because in a lot of situations, situationships, the reasons they would be called a situationship is because the needs or the wants are not expressed or are going unmet, which has to do with expectations. So the intention is to be a part of something. A person's intention is to be a needs meter or a needs getter or whatever it is, in terms of any type of relationship. Intention is almost like an inherent part of relationship with anybody or anything. But I think when we set expectations around what we're going to get out of or get from the relationship, that's what breeds discontent, disappointment, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But if there's, here I am, I'm a human being, and I want to interact and connect with you, that's an inherent intention.
I agree. It takes intention to answer a text and respond to
Yeah,
it,
oh, yeah.
or go see somebody or what have you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there in my mind I'm thinking relationships, expectations, needs, wants, values, and I guess what's prioritized. Do you have a particular bias for relationship to have you been in a situationship yourself? Let me ask that first because I don't want to assume. Yes?
Many.
Many.
Yes.
Okay. So here's my question, and I'm asking you specifically as a man, and I think you would understand.
Sorry, can we just answer? Can we not skip over this? Let's not skip by.
Yeah.
Okay, let's explore this because
Okay. You want to
I
pause for a bit?
recall, if I recall correctly, when I was like, oh, you know, I had a little something, people were like, situationship, and this one here was all about like, with all the blame and the like judgment. We listen and we don't judge, but he judged.
Yeah.
So now, the whole like, oh yeah, many. But you weren't saying all that before.
Just because I went to McDonald's yesterday doesn't mean I think it was healthy, right? Just because I was in situationships doesn't mean I think it was the healthiest choice.
But you could have been like, yeah, I get you. Like, I'm going to validate your situationship, Jen.
I empathize with you 60
You know
to
what?
70%
I'm
of the
done.
time, and then the other 30% I tease you. That's the balance that I've decided on.
Oh,
So
that's
we can
what
we can
you've
renegotiate.
decided on. We should probably have a conversation
should
about
have
this.
It's a situationship type of deal right now, but we can talk about
It's a
it.
situation.
And then we can set our goal and intentions, and then we can go from there.
We're going to have to talk about this later. Okay, sorry, I interrupted. Go
No,
ahead.
don't apologize at all.
You've been in many situationships. That's what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Several,
Many.
yeah. Let me
Yes.
downgrade from many to several.
Several.
You've
Somewhere
been
between
so
several
many.
and many. A number of situationships, yes.
several situationships.
Yeah.
He's like a veteran. He's
Do-
like, oh, he's like, oh, bro, at situation, he could have a situationships course on Coursera. All right.
Not even the Bri Online or whatever.
No, this is Coursera, paid course.
Do you have different expectations,
Yeah.
different intentions, and I guess different needs for a relationship that you know you're intentional about heading to, whether it's love, marriage, and all that, than you would have for a situationship? I'm curious about that. And if yes, why?
Very much so. So, I mean, transparently speaking, I think the reason that I'll say settled for situationships or encouraged and led situationships is because of the heartbreak that I experienced in marriage, right? I think in marriage, I didn't accurately meet the expectations that we had set for marriage and that I'd set for myself that she expected of me. And to some degree, my expectations were not met either. So situationships, the appeal for me was the fact that I could still have some degree of connection and companionship,
Right.
but they didn't have to expect as much of me. I didn't have to expect as much of them. So, yeah, I don't know how well that answers your question.
No, amazingly.
Yeah.
Great answer. Thank you for being honest about that too. I appreciate that. Jen, same question to you, my friend.
Do I have different requirements?
Different expectations, different requirements. Is it different needs? Entering either.
I mean, I would go ahead and say no.
Okay.
Here's why. I have the same requirements for all of my relationships.
Across the board.
Across the board.
Okay.
Whether we're friends, whether we're coworkers, whether it's like with my parents and family members, whether it's romantic partners, whether it's somebody I might be attracted to, interested in, or vice versa. I have the same requirement. I have the same requirement of myself, and I have the same requirement of them. So I want for us to be open, be honest, and perhaps this is values based, because I'm looking at how I maintain my values for both how I want to be treated and how I want to show up for others. So I'm saying I'm going to show up in a situationship, a relationship, a friendship, a parent-child relationship, a boss type relationship. I'm going to show up at my best, to the best of my ability. And I'm going to be respectful, and I'm going to be honest about what I need and want, and I'm going to be expressive, and I'm going to ask for the hard things, and I'm going to be willing to entertain the hard conversations. And then I'm going to require or request that they treat me in a certain way, talk to me a certain way, We talk, we compromise, we negotiate, whatever the case is, and then we also accept. We also accept where we are at that time. So if I can't deal with that, I'm going to set a boundary, and I'm going to say, well, yeah, maybe not for now. Maybe we can, come back and talk about this, or maybe not. Maybe it's just we don't need to be in relationship or situationship, whatever you want to call it. We don't need to be that. We don't need to be in any ship. And I like what you said about the ship, right? A ship is supposed to take you somewhere, companionship, relationship, whatever. I also think a ship is created to hold, and to hold in space or in place. And so can you just sit here with me and be?
Yeah.
I think that's a valid and viable part of the thing that we call relationship with others. So it's like, I mean, am I going to let you talk to me and call me out my name and, whatever, because we're in a situationship and we're not in a romantic partnership? Guess again. What we're not going to do is that ever, never with nobody ever.
I have a curiosity. That was an amazing answer. And what was coming up for me is like, when did Jem become this aware of her values, how she wants to show up, the boundaries that she needs to set, and become this emotionally intelligent, and all of the above, right? And I'm not just gassing you. I'm leading to the question. The Jen before that, how was she showing up to relationships? And the reason why I think that's important is speaking to the person listening to this, the young woman, the teenager maybe that's listening to this, trying to develop these skills and looking at you, oh wow, this is amazing, that the way that she's showing up. So I'm curious about your story, briefly, or anything you want to add of how it was before you came to be this version of yourself, and to articulate it so well, if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah. We're doing a behavior chain analysis is what we're doing here.
Thank you.
How did you do that, though? Yeah. How did you get there? How did that happen for you? Very therapeutic.
Practical. Let's make it practical.
That part too.
Yeah.
So if I'm thinking behaviorally specific, I respond to like situations that I feel uncomfortable in with reflection. So I respond with a, I don't really like that. Why didn't I like that? What would I like more?
Yeah.
How could I get more of what I like and what I don't like? What was my part in it? What did I do? What did I say? How did I garner that reaction? So I respond with reflection. So I learn.
Okay.
And then I also try different things. So here's a practical example. Growing up, people used to say, Jen, you have a very my mother used to say, you have no manners or respect. You guys will understand that, right? And she's of Caribbean descent. So she would say, you have no manners, no respect, no manners. And I used to be chatty, like talk back, kind of rude, borderline rude. I would call it irreverent. At this point. Irreverent.
She might say uncouth.
Uncouth. But what I realized is people didn't respond well to that.
Yeah.
People didn't respond well to that. People didn't connect to that. And then I experienced like a sense of loneliness and low self-value, right? I'm like, oh, nobody wants to be around me and people don't like me, right? So then it's like, wait a minute. And I feel lonely. So wait a minute, I'm not connecting well with people. Okay, maybe it has to do with this no matters, no respect thing. Because I really do want to be with other people. I really do want friends. I really do want people to like me. I really do. I'm trying to connect. So I'm thinking, okay, well, if what I'm doing is not working, what else can I do? And I actually started looking at other people. So I'd be like, okay, what are they doing? Because they connect really well. What's she doing? I have a cousin who connects amazingly. She connects with everybody.
Which cousin?
Do you know my cousin Joanne?
Yeah.
Danny?
That's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God, she's just incredible. And it's natural to her. I think she's always been like that, as far as I know. But then I started looking at her. I'm like, what does she do? How does she connect well with people? And then I would have conversations with her, And I'd be like, oh, I see. Okay, so she's like making eye contact and she's not sarcastic and she's genuinely interested and she has like a warm demeanor. I'm kind of like edgy and a little bit excitable at times. But she's very like warm and like embracing. And she's like water, flow, 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 flow. And I was like, okay, there are times when I'm contemplative. There are times when I sit back and I ponder. I can bring that into a space where I'm doing that with another human. And if I do want something or need something, I can use that as my go-to. And then I just started trying different things.
Yeah.
Just trying, like trying to say things differently, trying to deliver things, trying to express myself differently. And then it started working. You know, people would respond to me differently.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started building deeper connections with other people. And I think with my deeper connections, my value for my relationships and my gratitude for the relationships and the people around me actually grew. And so it's almost like it fueled this natural like passion and like internal fire for great quality relationships with other people, you know? So I'd say that was sort of the trajectory.
So self-reflection.
Self-reflection, intentional, like intentionally trying new things. So
Yes.
changing behavior.
And finding a mentor.
Finding mentors or finding people that you see
Mm-hmm.
that you like their behavior, you
Yeah,
like the way
like
they
a
do
role
the
model.
thing, like a role model. Yeah. And then I think before all of that, it's like the check-in with the self. Because I think we ignore that sometimes.
Often.
And it's like, you actually didn't feel good about the way that you said that or you made that person feel.
Yeah.
Right? You kind of went home and you were like, wrong and strong. Like, whatever, I don't care. I cared. You know what I mean? Whatever, I don't care what they say about me. No, I care. Right? Because I'm sitting down at nighttime like, I'm all sad, you know? So I think it's just admitting to the self, being very open. Like the very, very first step before the external stuff. It's the internal stuff.
Yeah.
Like being honest with yourself. Like actually you do care. And actually that does hurt. And actually you do want something different. You know? And then all the other steps. And that's the way I went about it. But there's a lot of ways, right?
For sure. That's real. And to me, that's practical, easy to digest, and hopefully amazing for you. Sam, what were you aiming for? So heartbreak, I want to keep it in context, right? Heartbreak from the marriage. I don't like to use the word failure. Is that how you would frame it? I want to use your words.
Yeah, I'd like to use the word failure in this instance.
Yes.
But I mean, we've talked about this in the past. I think failure is inevitable for people who are trying to do things in unusual ways.
Okay.
Yeah, the more you try, I think the more you fail, generally speaking. It doesn't mean that the ways that I failed were fair or right. But yeah, I'd say there was, we had a goal and we failed at hitting that goal, which was, our goal was to be married for the rest of our lives happily. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. There's a lot in there too. So thank you for putting that positive spin on it. And I agree with you. Failure is necessary. I'm curious. So the context is the marriage was a failure because it ended in divorce. Heartbreak was present for you, and your situationships, you brought those things into the situationships. Would you agree with that? Yes. Yeah. Right. So your expectations were different, right? These are your words. The expectations from
you're good. Yes.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious, the needs in the relationship with Jen and in the marriage that were not met, were they still present in the situationships for you?
In some cases. So to clarify your question, you're asking the needs that perhaps Jen didn't meet in that marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Did I still need the same things from my situationships?
Yeah.
Is that the same question?
Yeah.
Often not. Sometimes yes, sometimes not. So whereas Jen described kind of a wider set of values that she expects of everybody, I think of people more in tiers. Like what I expect of, you talked about colleagues and friends and family and romantic partners. I'm sure there's common things that I expect, but I think the way that I look at it is that I feel like I look at things, for better or worse, through a lens of betrayal. Okay. So like how there's like a pyramid. How likely are these people to betray me? Coworkers are probably at the top of that pyramid, maybe who I trust the least, because I think they have the least invested in our relationship.
Right. Yeah.
So if coworkers talks behind my back, it is what it is. My family, if they're talking behind my back instead of talking to me, I take that differently than a coworker doing it. And then I have friends who are like acquaintances, newer friends. Again, same thing. Like if they say something hurtful to my face, disrespectful, it's a different level of betrayal. It's a different way that I'll deal with that, rather than if we have a deeper relationship.
Yeah.
So the situationships fell somewhere in the middle of that, depending on the depth of the situationships. I've had a situationship similar to Genevieve where things were very defined. There was somebody, we were living in Toronto, but she was from the UK and she was only going to be in Toronto for a set amount of time. And so the nature of the relationship in a lot of ways was very clearly defined. And what we expected from each other, that grew with time as well. And that's different than where there's somebody who I see once in a while, and we like each other, we enjoy each other's company, but I wouldn't like them, and maybe they wouldn't like me if we were to spend more time together.
That's real.
So yeah, I think I've just kind of been very linear and compartmentalized those relationships very much so, maybe in a way that Genevieve doesn't. But there's a lot that I expected of Genevieve, and in time since I've realized in some cases my expectations were unrealistic. In some cases, maybe if the marriage had lasted longer, some things would have developed. But the way that I saw marriage at the time was very different than reality, which I think is a common situation for men and women, right? Expectations versus reality.
Yeah.
Even the happiest marriages will tell you that those things got shook. So there are some definitely significant things that were unmet in the marriage with Genevieve, that some of them, like depending on the nature of the relationship, I still wanted to be filled. The biggest differentiator, in brief, for me is, for somebody to be a life partner for me, they have to be growth-oriented, heavily growth-oriented. They have to be continually working on themselves. I want them to be a better partner, to internally want to be a better partner tomorrow than they were today.
Okay.
And I want them to be working on that separately, and I want them to be receptive to me sharing what I want, and what that would look like for me. And I expect the same. It's not a one-way thing. It's a two-way street. But not a lot of people, especially in situationships, a lot of humans are not as. That's not as much of a point of emphasis for a lot of people I've met as it is for me. Both ways.
Like period, no matter what the relationship is, that you find.
Yeah, like there's
It's not the same
cadre of humans who are extremely growth oriented,
right?
And then there's people who are even more growth oriented than I am, right?
Yeah.
But I'm on the side of like every day I'm doing kind of what Genevieve talked about, analyzing how can I get more of the results that I want, and I'm doing that heavily. And Genevieve, that was one of the things that drew me to her, because I saw that in her as well, to whatever degree. In marriage, we realized that probably like it's difficult in marriage when you're faced constantly with like a woman who I love the fact that she would call me on my ish when she was doing it as frequently and in the tone that she was doing it in. I didn't love it as much as I did when we were recording. All right. So, and I'm sure they felt the same. The way that I spoke to her when I wanted something didn't always work. So, but that would be a big differentiator. Like there's been people who I've had situationships with who I thought were cool people, but they were not growth oriented enough, didn't have the growth mindset that I would have required, or really wanted to have in a partner.
And that goes back,
for example.
I think that goes back to you saying, I've settled for several relationships, right?
And again, not to say that they're not amazing people who wouldn't be perfect partners for other people, but for me, that's a dividing line. Yes. And so it's settling. I'm like, I love spending time with you, but I don't think we'd be compatible, because the way that I'd want us to communicate and the way I'd want us to refine each other, I don't think we want the same things there. So the end goal is not the same as far as what we want our lives to look like.
Is it okay? So we all have biases. We all have biases, right? You agree? When is it okay to have a situationship?
Thank you all for joining us today. Make sure, if you haven't, that you like, follow, share, subscribe. We'd love to have you, and we'll see you again soon.